welcome to another episode of the Conscious Self podcast. Today, I want to talk about my favorite topic, spiritual awakenings. And I'm going to share you the whole story from the very beginning to the present day of what my spiritual awakening has looked like, what prompted it, how did it go, how did it feel, what has been my experience navigating religion and spirituality, and how did my gifts come online? And if you have been wanting to become more intuitive, more connected to your own intuition, your psychic abilities, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. You can go through this, you can have this. We are all intuitive, we are all psychic. And maybe my story will help you to realize, hey, wait, like I've been feeling that, or just to know what to expect if you choose to embark on this journey, because it is a journey that you choose of opening up your intuitive gifts. So, a little background about me to start. I was super religious my whole life. I was raised Catholic and I fully embraced my religion. I always felt really connected to God, to specifically Jesus Christ. I felt like he was always very close to me. And I was just, unfortunately, because of my connection to my religion, I was really allowed myself to be closed-minded to everything else. Like I thought that my religion was the truth, it was the way, and that every other form of spirituality was like slightly off, like it was wrong in a way, which is upsetting. It upsets me to think that I used to think that way, but it was part of my path. I also knew that I was intuitive, or on some level. I always knew that I was kind of in tune with something else. I didn't have a name for it, but I certainly would never have called myself psychic because I thought that was bad. And I believed that anything outside of my religion was wrong, which like religion really is against that stuff. Like we're taught that it's from the devil, that it's not the truth, that it's not from God. So I never really like accepted or embraced that side of myself. And so of course, like I lived a typical life that has ups and downs. I experienced some emotional, traumatic events in my life, like we all do. And I also, through my teen years and early 20s, started developing some like chronic health issues, like gut issues and hormone issues and stuff that would get better, but then come back or linger or whatever. And I had a feeling that there was this emotional trauma connection to it. I had some understanding that your emotions, that trauma has an effect on the body, especially as I started to become like more knowledgeable about health. I became an integrative health practitioner, and I felt that was what was holding me back, was like somehow this trauma was still affecting my body and keeping me stuck in these patterns. And I sent myself on a mission to figure out how to release trauma from the body. To me, I was like, how? Like, how does one do that? So I stumbled upon, meditation and started doing some very basic meditation before going to sleep or whatever. And it was nice, but it was not really making a difference. On my quest, somehow breathwork truly found me. I literally stumbled upon it. I was not searching breathwork. I really didn't know what it was, but I truly feel that it found me. And the first time I ever did breathwork, I had a crazy spiritual awakening. I swear, and I believe that, maybe that won't happen for everyone. I do see it happen to a lot of my clients, but for me, like that was my pathway and it made itself known to me. So the first time I ever did breath work, it was a type of Kundalini breath work, and I had this crazy experience of feeling so connected to what I now would say is like the collective consciousness and my higher self. And at the time, I just felt like, wow, I've never felt so connected to myself and to God. And it's like, it's all the same, but I just had never felt such an intense connection, like a divine connection before in my life. And I was immediately hooked, like, oh my God, I need more of this. So I started practicing breath work every single day. And honestly, like at that time in my life, around like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was really struggling with so much stress at work. So this was just made me feel so good. I just couldn't get enough of it. Sometimes I was even practicing like 3 times a day. And I practiced with the intention of releasing the emotional trauma. Like that was what my desire was. I wanted to release all of that from my body so I could fully like feel healthy and feel like just better. Letting go of the past, like things that I would still think about that were painful, like just letting it all go. And also just like becoming more safe and secure within myself, strengthening like love for myself. Like that was always my intention that I went in with. And whatever your intention is, now I know like that's what you will receive. And it truly was. After I started doing breathwork, my life literally began to change so quickly. Everything's just started to just, and I became so much more aware of it because my consciousness was expanding. Like the way I felt about myself, like within me, how I felt like in my relationships, like just what I was able to observe, how I saw my whole life, how I saw the world, everything changed and completely opened up. It was this huge expansion of myself. And so I started to learn more just naturally. My interests became to learn more about this, like about my intuition, like how breathwork does this to you, like how it was opening up my intuition, my intuitive gifts. And I just started to naturally, by doing breathwork, like tap into my psychic gifts, my intuitive abilities just came online. In my breathwork meditations, I started to like see visions, like in my third eye with my eyes closed, like a movie. I started to just see things or see images, or I would hear like a very distinct message in my head. And I just got so curious, like, what is happening? Who is talking to me? Like, what is this? So I started reading books about it, and I just started to feel connected to energies that were outside of what I already knew. Like otherworldly beings, like the Pleiadians, I felt extremely connected to, my ancestors, and just like the collective. Like I just felt this sense of like I came here to Earth for a very important mission. Like I am not just like this girl Haley that's like having a good time here. Like I am an otherworldly being that is in a human body right now on a quest to like help Earth. Like it just it just I remembered. It was like I literally remembered who I was. And that's real. My consciousness was literally blasted open. I began learning more about energy work and just strengthening my intuition. And like I just realized, wow, there's so much more like to everything that I could have ever imagined. And because I was so close-minded, I was just closing myself off to all of it. And I just became obsessed. So to practice every single night, I would set aside time to just sit in silence and ask my spirit guides to come through and communicate with me. Like literally just sitting there and saying like, all right, I'm here, I'm listening. Like I give you permission to communicate with me. Like, hey, what's up? Like, and I started to like hear things and feel things in my body and just like connect. And it was just this incredible love and joy that I had just never felt before. And I knew it was real because I could feel it in my body. So I wanted to like really know more. So I took a course. Like I invested a lot of money into learning how to strengthen my intuitive gifts. And like I wanted to do it the right way because I know like of course not all the energies out there in the world are loving. You know, there are some negative energies out there. So I learned all about psychic protection and discernment and all of that stuff, which is like if you want to do intuitive work or like be able to communicate with your spirit guides and angels and all of that, like you need to learn about protection and how to like protect yourself, because you don't want just anything to come in, because there are beings out there that are not of love and light that can steer you the wrong direction or like lower your vibration. So I knew that like it's not rules, but it's just a wise way to go about it. So I wanted to make sure I was doing it in a safe way and not just letting anything come into my field when I opened up my gifts. And honestly, like my experience of learning all of this, like it might sound overwhelming, but to me it was so easy. It felt like it just all made complete perfect sense. It was not like I was like learning a new thing. It felt almost as if I already knew. As if I did this before. Like it was like just always a remembering more so than a learning. And it just felt so validating to me. Like, yes, of course. Like, it just felt so natural. And to me, that just spoke to like my knowing that like this is my natural gift. And I just had to remember how to use it, like riding a bike. So over time, it just became easier and easier to connect with those realms. And I opened my gifts with more practice. And I knew that like this gift I had was really important and that I was really meant to use it. So I got officially trained in energy work in a high, and I learned even more how to develop my gifts and use them to actually help other people. So it moved more so from like me wanting to just have fun and like connect with my guides and myself, and being like, I got to use this to help other people because it's so helpful to be able to hear like directly from your homies above, like your angels, your spirit guides, your higher self, when we feel like so confused here on earth, like lacking direction, not sure what to do, not sure what's going on, overwhelmed, like going through trauma, like why is that happening and what do I do about it? Like that is literally what we all need. So I just started practicing with other people. And the more that I practiced, the stronger it got. And it literally shocks me to my core, the accuracy of the information that comes through when I work with people. Like reading their energy body, reading their energy field. Like you can, a lot of people, maybe it's like half and half. Some people come into a session with me and they want to like tell me what's going on and what they want to fix. And some people come in and they're like, hi, help me feel better. And they tell me absolutely nothing. And I literally just like can feel everything that they've been through, like very deeply personal things. And I'll share with them. And I'll be like, well, don't worry. Like I cleared that from your field. Like that's no longer with you. Like that energy is gone. And like I filled you back up with love or confidence or like safety. And like you don't need to worry about that anymore. It's so painless. So when I work with people, like I literally hear from their higher selves, their soul self, their spirit guides. I can see what energetic blocks are in their body, like in their energy centers, their chakras, or in the physical body. And if there's any negative energies present, or just like anything that needs to go, like that's from the past and you haven't let go of, that's like really holding you back physically or emotionally. I can see people's gifts and like their purpose and what they need to work on strengthening that's going to like lead them down their highest timeline in life. And I've even seen and heard from like people's past loved ones that have passed on, or even pets that are like protecting them and guiding them, which is so beautiful. So I got so deep, obviously, into this world of spirituality, and it obviously made me begin to question everything I ever knew. Being raised as a very religious person. So I went through a long, honestly, it's probably been a year or so of just questioning everything and like battling with myself of like, what is the truth? Like, what is right? So like, what's the answer then? Like, I was raised believing all this stuff, and like now I know all this stuff. So like, what's the right one? I was so confused about what I believed was true anymore. And it felt really hard, obviously, because I had attached so much of my identity to my faith. So ultimately, I could tell like we were all talking about the same thing. Like I knew this. Like we're all talking about the same thing in a different way. But I just felt this chip on my shoulder, like this negative, like I don't know how to describe it. I knew that what I was doing was of love and light and truth. Like I knew that the work, this quote psychic work, which is looked down upon in my religion, was God's work. But at the same time, I knew that my religion didn't accept that, and I felt that it didn't accept me, which was very painful. To believe that like my religion that I poured so much love into was essentially rejecting me and what I felt were the gifts that God gave me. So anyway, I recently had another awakening. I went to Sedona. Of course, I had an awakening in Sedona, very basic. But I went to this church. There's this, I don't remember the name of it, but there's this very well-known church like in the side of the mountain. It's so beautiful. It has a massive statue of Jesus on the cross. And I felt called to go visit and check it out. I've always been drawn to beautiful churches because they're just so incredible. And I went in there and I kneeled in front of this statue in front of Jesus, and I just talked to him, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I know that, like, I know you, like, you are, like, I'm so close to that Christ consciousness. Like, I feel very connected to Jesus Christ. And I'm like, I know that you are me. Like, I am you. Like, we are the same. We were both energy workers. Like, we're both here to spread love, light, healing. So, like, why do I feel this grudge against my faith that you're such a big part of? And I just got this major download that literally made me cry. And it was like, it can all exist, Haley. Like, you can do all of it. It was like, duh. Like, I felt like I had been in such a scarcity mindset around my beliefs, around like that I had to choose one, that there was only one and everything else was bad or whatever. And it was like switching to the abundance mindset of it can all be true. Like, you can practice all of the religions. Like, you can believe in all of it. You can identify pieces of you with all of it. Like, why do you think that you need to choose? Like, I'm a part of this and I'm a part of this. And it was such a relief um, that I can just experience my spirituality and my connection to the divine in every single way that I want. And it's okay. All that matters is my experience of it. So my awareness of what feels true for me, what resonates with me, and like, how do I want to connect in this way? And that was just really beautiful. And I think the deeper you awaken yourself and you open your awareness, you can't help but realize that everything is okay. Like, everything is good. Like, if you believe that there is one right way or like one truth, you know what I mean? Like, the choosing sides mentality, you're not awake. Like, if you truly believe that in some way, like, we're meant to be separated as humans, you're not fully awakened yet, because that's not the truth. The truth is that everything is love, and the more we lean into that, the more peace we have. And if we're choosing sides, we're not at peace. We're essentially at war. So yeah, so Donna brought so much to me, but that was a really, really major shift within me that I received. So hopefully this story helps any of you going through a spiritual awakening. I mean, it's a never ending experience, honestly. I truly feel like once your gifts begin to open, if you want them to, there's no going back. Like, I still feel my gifts getting stronger and stronger all the time. It just becomes more and more potent, more and more clear if you want it to. We all have this ability. Like, it, not only like professional psychics are psychic, like literally every single human being has the ability to connect with the divine. It is just our human nature, but it's a matter of if you want to use it or not, and to what extent that you want to use it. It is literally just a skill that we need to practice. And it's a matter of saying yes to it. Like, yes, I am open and I want to receive this gift. And I will say, the energy work that I do, like, I've had many clients come to me and have their intuitive gifts be blasted open. And this won't happen to you if you don't want it to. So, like, it's not you never have to worry about it. Like, you are completely in control. But I've had some clients that came to me for an energy healing session and become like so connected afterwards. Like, their intuition just turns online and they just become so much more intuitive. It just strengthens their abilities because this energy is so potent and powerful. And so if you feel like it's hard for you to connect with your intuition, like it's hard for you to like make decisions or like know what is your truth, like some of us feel like it's hard for you to like feel like what's right in your gut, or it's hard for you to basically just like hear yourself. Like, you act so much based on what others have to say for you rather than being able to hear your true desires. Or you just kind of want like a shortcut to your spiritual awakening, basically. Book a one-on-one energy healing session with me, and I can work on clearing any blocks that you have to connecting with your intuition, connecting to your third eye. Sometimes we feel like we're blocked to accessing our intuitive gifts, and sometimes that's a real thing. Like, we may have seen scary things when we were younger, because when we're children, we're much more intuitively open. So sometimes we actually unintentionally turn them off as children and we don't know how to turn them back on as adults. So the link is in my show notes to book a session with me if that is calling to you, if you're ready to get your intuition to be stronger and more accessible to you. And hopefully, any of you going through your spiritual awakening know that it is a journey. It is a beautiful journey, and it does require your full attention, willingness, and practice. But you'll get there, and it will just get stronger and stronger the more that you use it. And just enjoy the ride. So, thank you guys so much for being here with me and listening to my story. As always, I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.